In this video, I'm going to walk you through calculating a rough estimate of how much income the tenant buyer will need to make on a yearly basis in order to qualify to purchase your property at the end of the rent-to-own term. So before you start taking application from the prospective tenant buyers, it's a good idea to know approximately how much money the tenant buyer needs to make in order to qualify to buy your home at the end of the term. To determine this information, we'll need to do some calculations, similar to what the mortgage broker goes through. But ours will just give you a rough guideline. So this is so you don't waste the mortgage broker and credit coach's time sending them people who are just not qualified and will never be able to buy the home because they don't earn enough income. So let's walk through the accompanying worksheet to figure out what the tenant buyer needs to make. The first thing to do is to determine what the estimated monthly payment will be on the home based on the future purchase price with the 5% down payment. To do this, we'll take the end purchase price of our example for $374,000 and multiply it by the 95%, the amount of a mortgage that will be placed on the house after the 5% down payment has been paid. Now that comes to $358,150. So we need to figure out what the mortgage would be on that value. Now I know the mortgage rates are currently low at the time of this video, and you can get a 5-year fixed mortgage in around the 2.5%. However, because the mortgage will be insured and because it's less than 20% down, the insurer wants to make sure the buyer will be able to afford the home in the future when the rates rise. So because of that, they require the tenant buyer to qualify at the benchmark rate which they have set. Now, at the time of this video, the benchmark rate is 4.64%, but that's something that you'll need to determine what the benchmark rate is at the time that you're calculating your rent-to-own, which is typically the 5-year mortgage rate is typically what the banks use as the benchmark rate when it comes to calculating the mortgage on the house. Now, the amortization for the mortgage will be set at 25 years, meaning the house will be paid off in 25 years. So based on that information, using my handy Canadian mortgage calculator, because I'm in Canada, which is slightly different than the US, the value is $2,010.23. So when it comes to qualifying for a mortgage, we need to factor in a few things like the monthly amount of taxes, $100 for heat, and condo fees if applicable. So this example, we're going to assume the taxes on this house are $2,400 per year, which works out to be $200 per month. So if we take the mortgage of $2,010.23, we add in the $200 for taxes and the $100 for heat, we get a total value of $2,310.23. Now that means the person buying the house with 5% down must be able to qualify for a mortgage payment of $2,310.23. Now in Canada, the lenders will allow you to use 39% of your gross debt service ratio, GDSR, towards your mortgage. That means that at the most, the $2,310.23 can be 39% of your monthly income. To figure that out, we take the $2,310.23 and divide it by 0.39 to get a value of $5,923.67. Now this represents the gross monthly income needed to purchase this house. So if we multiply that value of $5,923.67 by 12 months in a year, we have just calculated the minimum yearly income needed to buy your home at the end of the rent-own term. Now that comes to a value of $71,084. Now what that means to you is when you're interviewing people interested in your rent-to-own house, is that you should only consider people who make roughly $70,000 or more. The reason I went to the nearest 10,000 is there's a little wiggle room, plus most people know roughly how much they make to the nearest 10,000. Now they aren't going to know the exact amounts off the top of their head, but generally people know that they make 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, approximate numbers. This means if there's a husband and wife coming together, you must make sure that you combine both of their incomes. So if the wife makes $40,000, then as long as the husband makes at least $30,000, then they are worth considering and getting an application from them to move on to the next stage, which is the application process and the next video. So as long as the combined household income is at least the minimum amount that they're going to require in order to purchase the home, then the next step will be actually, determining if they have the minimum initial option payment needed to actually get into the home. And if they pass those two tests, then it's time to get an application from them to set them up for success. So in the next video, we'll talk about the application process.